Like so many other manufacturers, BMW is on a mission to completely electrify all of their core models. And with an all-new 7th generation of the company's flagship 7 Series just reaching dealership showrooms, we all knew that an electric version was coming as well. And this is exactly what I'm standing by today. This is the brand new 2023 BMW i7. And just like the other i models like the i4 and iX, the naming starts with the number or with the letter I, and then the number corresponds to where it fits in the lineup. So this being the i7, this is now the flagship of their electric vehicle lineup, which means we have a massive 101 kilowatt hour battery pack, an xDrive60 model that develops around 536 horsepower, and BMW says you can get up to 318 miles on a full charge. So if you guys have been looking for an all-electric executive sedan vehicle and you don't want something like a Tesla or a Mercedes or a Porsche or an Audi, how does the brand new 2023 BMW i7 stack up? Stay tuned to find out. So unlike its main competitor, the Mercedes-Benz EQS, the i7 technically is not built on a dedicated battery electric platform because it shares the basic design and architecture with the gas-powered model. So when you lift up the hood of the i7, the million-dollar question with a lot of EVs, does it have a frunk? And as you can see, there's a lot of plastic underneath here, but there is no frunk, unlike some competitors. However, unlike the Mercedes-Benz EQS, which doesn't even allow you to open up the hood, at least with the i7, you can open up the hood and see this massive plastic cover, which you can take off and see the electric motors kind of hiding underneath the motor area. But let's go ahead and start talking about the powertrain spec, because right now at launch, the i7 is only available as an xDrive60. There's no I after that because it doesn't have injection. This is not a gas engine. It's basically got 2 electric motors, one at the front, one at the rear, powered by a 101 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. BMW says this is good for up to 318 miles of range. This model here with the 21-inch wheels does around 308 miles on a full charge. It all goes out through a 1-speed reduction gear transmission and all-wheel drive. xDrive all-wheel drive is going to be standard equipment on all i7 models. 0 to 60, BMW claims, should be around 4.5 seconds. This will reach a top speed of around 149 miles an hour. And as this one sits, it's a pretty heavy vehicle. Obviously, you've got a massive battery pack lining the floor, so it weighs in at just under 6,000 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and talk about the exterior styling, because this particular model here has kind of the more luxury theme design elements that you see on the front fascia. If you guys also want to see an M Sport, be sure to click in the link in the description below where I show you a 760i gas version with the M Sport package. You can see this model here with the luxury package includes their latest twin kidney corporate grille. It's got a lot of chrome along the 2 outer portions of the grille. This grille is also illuminated at night, which I'll have to show you guys another video when I get one to test for a week, because this is a very short drive here in Palm Springs. You can see there are also active grille shutters. You have the blue accented BMW badge with the I badge over here to the side. And then you can see here, there are these beautiful Swarovski crystal headlights that you can get on the new 7 Series. You can see the headlight crystals are readily apparent in the turn signal and LED daytime running light. There's a new split headlight design here with the LED low and high beams. These, I believe, have BMW's new laser light technology. And then you can see here, no fog lights in the vehicle, but there is a lot of extra chrome that you can black out with the M Sport package with some more functional air vents. But overall, this is a polarizing design. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the look. It's going to take some time for it to grow on me, just like the new large grills on the 4 Series and the M3 and the M4. I do think it actually does look better on an M Sport model as opposed to this luxury line. This particular version is painted in like this kind of a beige, silvery, gray color combination where it changes depending on how the light hits it. Now, the i7 will only launch in one size, and as you can see, it basically looks like the gas version of the 7 Series, which I love how BMW did that, because unlike the EQS, which is all about aerodynamics, it looks like an ugly bar of soap or a jelly bean. This has a very traditional, sleek, 3-box shape to the sedan profile. And in fact, there are some lines in the side profile that remind me of a Rolls-Royce. Technically, they don't share the same platform, but Rolls-Royce, as you guys know, is owned by the BMW group. Now you can see the wheels. These are the 21-inch Aero style wheels wrapped in 255 tires in the front, fatter 285s at the back. This is what gives you a 308 mile range. If you go to a 19-inch wheel, you can get up to a 318 miles. All i4s come with their 4-corner air suspension and adaptive rear wheel steering, which again is going to give this car a much tighter turning radius. Now looking at the side profile, you can see at 212 inches long, this is a big sedan. It's around 4 inches longer than the Mercedes-Benz EQS, or about 5 inches longer. It has this 126.6-inch long wheelbase, so it's got a really long wheelbase to give you a lot of space on the inside. And then you can see here, panoramic glass roof, which is going to be standard. It does have a retractable shade, and then there's a lot of shades for the back windows, for the rear windows. The door handles, you can see, are similar to the i4, where you have to stick your hand in here and then push a little pressure pad. That's what opens the doors. And then over here, you can see there is the charge port door, just like on the i4 and the iX. It has AC and DC charging, which is standard. I also love these kind of spring actuated covers for the charge ports, which is nice. The vehicle has an onboard 11 kilowatt hour onboard charger for AC charging, which means you can go from 0 to 100% in about 10 hours. If you can find a DC fast charger, BMW says this will accept up to 200 kilowatts. Technically, it's 195 kilowatts, so you can go from 10 to 80% in about 34 minutes. So that's about the same as what you get in the Mercedes-Benz EQS, this car's main competitor. But looking at the rear, you can see the design is definitely much more conventional. I actually like the squared off look. Unlike the gas version that I showed you with the M60 or with the M Sport package, there's no spoiler back here, which gives it a little bit of a cleaner look. You can see the taillights have like a three-dimensional shape or look to the actual LEDs. I also like the way they look when they blink. It's interesting. You can see the BMW badge there is accented in blue. There's an i7 badge over here, and then an xDrive60 badge to show that this is an all-wheel drive version that has power equivalent to a V8. No visible exhaust tips, obviously. This is a fully electric vehicle. And then when you want to open up the trunk, it's got that classic power opening and closing tailgate or trunk lid, and you get slightly less cargo space in the electric version. You get up to 11.5 cubic feet of space. It's a reduction of about 2 cubic feet. I suspect it has to do with the packaging of the battery. Underneath here, however, unlike the gas model, you do have some underfloor storage, which is surprising. Those seats, they do not fold down, obviously, in a 60/40 manner. So even though by the numbers it's not very large, this is technically still a bigger trunk versus what I've seen in the new Genesis G90, which eventually Genesis will come out an electric version of that. But overall, it's still a very usable cargo area. So if you guys like the conventional looks of the i7 on the exterior, it just looks like the gas model, let's go ahead and hop into the interior, which you're gonna like it even more because it's basically the same, again, as the gas version. Let me first show you guys the key fob for the vehicle. It's not different versus the gas version of the new 7 Series, but this is BMW's latest key. It's got remote start, it's got lock, unlock, it's got trunk release, and you can also use your phone as a key. You can also use an Apple Key function where you could send a text message to somebody to give access to the vehicle and use a BMW digital key card. And you can see here, door handle has a little pressure pad when you stick your hand in there, and that's what opens the door for you. This also has the same opening automatic closing doors that you get from a Rolls-Royce from the new 7 Series. So again, this is features that not even the EQS has. The EQS doesn't even have soft closed doors. So that's something that BMW really worked hard to kind of give us in terms of luxury. Now, this particular one here, the exterior is called Oxide Gray, and this is the full merino smoke leather, which definitely feels really nice. It's interesting because up here, it's perforated and it's leather. Down here, it's actually got kind of like a wool cloth material. It's really nice if you guys prefer to have a cloth material on your bottom cushion. The seats are still heated and ventilated. They adjust in like 20 plus different ways. These are also massaging seats. They're massaging seats from the front and in the rear. You can see you control the seat via these beautiful glass controls, which you can also access the screen to find even more intricate controls. There's, again, more glass pieces along with a wood look along the rest of the dashboard. On the door panel here, you can see you have full leather. This is the metal speakers that you get with the 36 speaker Bowers & Wilkins stereo for $5,000. Piano black accented trim here, high quality controls for the window switches, and then you can see more of that wool cloth material along with the leather and more stitched leather on the actual door panels. That upgraded full merino leather is like $5,000 extra. Definitely worth it if you guys prefer to have the ultimate luxury sedan. But getting inside, you can see, getting in, with the automatic doors, you can see this is a pretty far reach, and unlike the new Genesis G90, which has the button over here, BMW puts the button over here on the dashboard. So just touch that, you can see the door shuts. It has a really solid sounding thunk. You can also just push the brake pedal. That'll also close the door for you if you have that setting turned on or off. You can do either or. Button to fire up, everything is right here in the center console. And you can see here, the vehicle kind of comes to life. It's a very, very nice cabin. Now, I'm not gonna go into too much detail with this interior. Be sure to click the link in the description below to watch my S760i video, which has a more detailed look at the interior. So we're just gonna talk about the differences. Now you can see it's got that interactive bar along the entire dash, which is illuminated. It also shows lighting based on how the system is trying to communicate with you. If I turn on the hazards, you can see the entire interactive bar blinks red, which is nice. You have the new xDrive60, so you have a 12.3-inch display here, a massive 14.9-inch display over here. So it's not quite as cool as the 56-inch hyperscreen in the Mercedes, but I'd argue that this is a little bit less intimidating, and it's a little bit easier to use. You have features like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You have over-the-air updates. You have a touchscreen that is very responsive, that has really beautiful graphics. You can really just kind of custom tailor whatever you'd like, and this is just really easy to use. And you can also use the iDrive controller here that has the same beautiful glass controls as the gas-powered model. I also really love the light birch-colored matte finish wood that you find on the dash along the center console. It's just very nice. You have a heads-up display. You have augmented reality in the GPS. You have beautiful leather along the entire dash here, along with the wood. And then you can see here the dash vents are almost cleverly hidden. You can open and close them by using this little electronic touchpad, and you can also adjust the airflow via this little manual like knob over here, which again is all very, very nice looking. Now above me, you can see big panoramic glass roof, which does not open, but it does have a shade, which you can see the shade actually closes from front to back. That's opposite what I expect or what most cars do, which is kind of interesting, but when you close it, it definitely helps to keep the sun from coming in. The sunroof itself doesn't actually open. The one thing this car is missing is a digital camera rearview mirror, because right now you can see it's auto dimming. It's a really nice looking rearview mirror, but if I want to close the rear shade, just check this out guys, it's really silly. Close the rear shade. When you close that, you can't actually see through it. Now some brands you can still see through the rear shade, so this would be useless to see. Like this rearview mirror is useless when you have that closed, or if you have that theater screen down, it's also in the way. So this really should be a digital camera rearview mirror. I don't know why BMW dropped the ball and didn't include that. But looking at the rest of this cabin here, you can see the center stack, 2 cup holders, you have a wireless phone charging pad there. You put the vehicle into reverse, there's your full 360 camera with their automatic parallel parking and backup assistance. It's got 360 trajectory, parking sensors, all the usual fancy stuff that you expect. And then you can see here, I love the glass controls, which come standard. You also have air suspension. You have different drive modes here, where you can go into personal, sport, efficient, expressive, relaxed, theater, and digital art. And then you can also go and hit this button over here and go to your drive mode settings, where you can turn on and off the iconic sounds. And this vehicle also has one pedal driving, so you can turn on the regen braking to be in a high, medium, low, adaptive, or you can just turn it off completely if you'd prefer. So that's really nice that BMW gives you that choice. The seats are very comfortable and supportive. I actually love the cloth portion down here, and they're still ventilated. I have the cooled seat on, and it really gets super cold. Massage also works well. No pillow in the actual headrest, but I love the wood here. It's just a really nice, expensive feeling cabin. So overall, the interior is just as nice as the 7 Series. It doesn't have the wow factor of that 56-inch hyperscreen, but I think that actually could be overwhelming for a lot of people, and I think BMW did a phenomenal job with the overall luxury, technology, and build quality of this new i7. Looking at the back seat of the i7, again, if you guys are looking for a more detailed overview of all of the tech in this car, which is ridiculous, be sure to watch my video on the 760i. I'll include a link in the description below. This back seat is including, this model here has the executive rear seating package, which means you have around 42 inches of legroom. That's about an inch less versus what you get in the gas-powered 7 Series. So I suspect the battery is eating up a little bit into the space, but this is still a ton of room. So once I get back here, and then when you want to shut the door, you want to close the door, you actually have to push this button over here, which I think is not too far, but it would have made more sense to put it in the center console here. You remember this actually folds down if you guys want to actually seat 3 people in the back. And then you also have features like these little mounting points here on both front seat backs for an entertainment center system. You also have USB-C charging. You have rear seat vents back here. along with more vents on this pillar. And then the theater screen, as you can see, is up here in the ceiling. You can also fold it down via the 5.5-inch touch control over here. So push that fold down button and you can see the screen pops right down. It's 31 inches across. It's an 8K resolution. And it also runs off of a 5G hotspot that's built into the vehicle. You can also adjust the tilt and you can also move it closer to you if you'd like. So you can actually touch it a little bit better. This essentially makes this vehicle's rear seat like your own personal movie theater, which is really cool. You can watch things like Amazon Fire, or it has Amazon Fire TV built in, so you can stream things like YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, which is all really great, or Amazon Video and whatnot. Materials back here, you can see still the same soft touch leather, more leather over here, more of that wool fabric, and then more leather down here. So it's all really beautiful. You have 2 storage pockets, or actually, I'm sorry, just 1 storage pocket here. And then that is a footrest that you can basically just kind of push a relaxed lounge mode. This seat will recline, that seat will move out of the way, and it kind of gives you the ability to kind of sit back here and take a nap and have a driver, which is really wonderful. More of that beautiful suede Alcantara. There's pillows back here, which these pillows are super soft. I love that. One thing this is missing, however, there's like no champagne flutes or refrigerator, which you kind of have to go to a Rolls-Royce to get that, so I'm not surprised it doesn't have that. But overall, the back seat of this i7 has one of the most spacious rear seats. It's got the most impressive rear seat entertainment system, and I love the fact that BMW kind of has these touch controls in these 2 separate screens on each side of the door. Some of you may prefer just 1 screen, but I think this definitely adds to the whole theatrics and it makes this back seat feel even more special. All right, so here we are behind the wheel of the very first ever all-electric BMW 7 Series. The company calls it the i7, so it has a different name. However, unlike Mercedes with their EQ products, this vehicle looks practically like the other 7 Series models, which definitely makes it a little more appealing in my eyes, considering the fact that the EQS is such an interestingly awful-looking vehicle. This model here is the xDrive60, which means we have basically the same power as the V8 version that I also just drove. That makes around 536 horsepower. This also makes the same. It makes slightly less torque though, like 549 pound-feet. Dual electric motors. We're starting off with an 82% charge. Sadly, I don't have my 0 to 60 equipment working properly in this car because I forgot an antenna. So we'll have to wait until we test this car back home, or I can do a proper 0 to 60. BMW says around 4.5 seconds, but let's go ahead and just launch the car, see what we can get. It does have launch control. Oh man, this feels just like the i4. Oh shit. It also has the iconic sounds that BMW has become known for, developed with Hans Zimmer, famous music composer, and you can turn off those iconic sounds if you prefer it to be a totally quiet experience, but in my testing, I noticed that it kind of gives the i4 or the BMW electric products kind of like almost a visceral feel. Even though it's fake, it's nice. It kind of goes with when you put your foot down, it kind of builds in sound and builds in theatrics. It's a really overall, it adds to the sensation of speed instead of taking away from it. And that's kind of the point when you're going to do this kind of visceral feel for a vehicle. But just like the gas-powered 760i, the i7 is a really nice car to drive. I mean, BMW is all about the ultimate driving machine. And even in the electric version of the i7, this is here. This car weighs almost 6,000 pounds. It's a full 1,000 pounds heavier than its ICE counterpart. But this car hides the weight really well. The suspension is very composed. It just is very sure-footed. The steering in this model, I'm noticing, is a little bit lighter, has a little bit less feedback. But drive this back-to-back with any of the competition, except for maybe the Audi S8. The S8 is pretty much one of the best handling vehicles in the segment for me. This is really, really good. I'd have to drive the cars back-to-back to really get a feel for which one's actually better. But in terms of the overall feel on a curvy mountain road like here out in Palm Springs, there just isn't much better than driving something like this. The acceleration is instantaneous. You can do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds all day long. The handling composure is good. The steering feel could be better. The ride quality is really comfortable. Even though I'm in sport mode right now, it just soaks up the bumps so well, and it's so freaking quiet in here. I mean, it's got the acoustically tuned glass, like an extra $1,300, and you could just whisper in this interior and you wouldn't hear a thing. Even as I go over the rumble strips on this 2-lane road, you don't really feel it as much as you would in a normal car. And that's kind of the whole point with buying an executive saloon like this. This thing just coddles you. I'm sitting here getting a massage. It's just really, really, you know, supremely comfortable. It feels expensive. It feels premium. The driver assistance tech in the i7 is BMW's next generation, so it offers hands-off driving or hands-free driving on the interstates up to 80 miles an hour on closed interstates where it has it mapped out, which I haven't had a chance yet to test in this very short program that I'm on. Ooh, there's an M4 CSL. But you get a sense that BMW really put everything they had into this car, and the fact that the electric i7 just kind of takes everything that I like about the gas model and just pumps it up a notch is really very impressive. Now, in terms of the real world range, I'll have to wait until I can test one at a later date, but let's go ahead and pass the Highlander here since they're letting us. Amazing, amazing, just instantaneous torque, and geez, this thing just takes turns like it doesn't weigh 6,000 pounds. Where'd the weight go? Anyways, when I started off this drive, I was at 85% charge. It was showing about 315 miles. The EPA rates this model here at 308 miles because of the 21-inch wheels. You can get up to 318 miles if you guys go for the 19-inch wheels, 296 if you guys go for, I think, the 22s or like the biggest, least efficient wheel. So the range is pretty good. I suspect, just like in the iX and the i4, the range will be better versus in the real world versus what the EPA's rating is. They tend to be a little more conservative. Fast charging is handled up to 200 kilowatts. You can basically go from 10 to 80% in about 34 minutes in this vehicle. We've got a massive 101 kilowatt hour battery pack, which you don't even feel the weight. It's very well distributed, and that's kind of the whole point with going with a vehicle like this. It just kind of hides the weight extremely well. Visibility is also really good, although just like in the gas model, this vehicle is still missing a digital camera rearview mirror. When I have that rear sunshade up, it blocks out the view entirely. When you have that theater screen down, it blocks out the view entirely. So that's a huge omission from BMW. I'm hoping they add that digital camera rearview mirror as part of an emergency add-on at some point in the model year 2023. But overall, driving the gas and the electric version back to back, obviously the electric model seems like the more logical choice. It's just as fast, if not quicker. It has the instantaneous torque. You have less maintenance with this model. There's no waiting for the transmission to shift. Like in the gas version, if you build up the boost with Sport Boost, it was insanely quick. But this model, there is no Sport Boost, it seems like, because it just doesn't need it. Although I will say, when you're going at higher speeds, the gas V8 obviously is going to feel a little bit quicker. It's got more torque. Gas engines just tend to have that advantage there. But overall, if you guys are considering something like a Tesla Model S and you don't need the absolute crazy speed, or you're looking at the EQS, the i7 may have just become my favorite new large all-electric luxury sedan. So just like its conventional V8 powered gas sibling, the brand new 2023 BMW i7 is a very impressive new flagship executive luxury sedan. BMW has really done their homework here, and you can tell they poured their heart and soul into this vehicle to really raise the bar. I mean, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and the EQS have always been kind of sitting at that very top. And I think with this new 7 Series and i7, BMW is pretty much there, and it's going to challenge that main rival along with some other new rivals from Genesis and Lexus and the upcoming Audi A8 whenever they decide to come with that. And really, the i7 to me makes the most sense if you guys are looking for the most technologically advanced executive luxury sedan, because this vehicle here has similar acceleration and power to the gas V8. However, you get up to 318 miles of range. It has very comparably quick DC fast charging along with a quick onboard charger for those of you who plan to just do most of your charging at home. The instantaneous torque, when you remove the fact that it doesn't have a transmission and an engine to kind of spool up the turbos and whatnot, makes this car just faster in day-to-day driving and in just even quieter. Although I do love the sounds of the V8. For those of you, again, who want something that's different, that has better build quality than a Tesla and even better technology, the new i7 certainly is going to fit that bill. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are looking to purchase this vehicle, they are heading to dealer showrooms right now as we speak. A gas-powered 740i is around 93 grand. The i7 is going to be the most expensive of the lineup until BMW decides to do an actual Alpina version of this car. These started at just around $119,000, which 119 grand certainly is expensive. It's actually around $6,000 more than the V8. And again, this vehicle does not qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit because it's not built in North America, and its price point is also way too expensive. It's way above the $55,000 price cap for electric sedans. My tester here, with all of the options that it has, like the executive package, the rear seat executive package, the upgraded wheels, the upgraded full merino leather, this oxide gray, which is like another $1,000, all in with destination, and the $5,000 Bowers & Wilkins stereo and that huge theater screen. This one here comes to $151,995, which I know is a stupid amount of money. However, you could buy something like a Tesla Model S Plaid, which is obviously faster, but it doesn't have the build quality and the luxury and the technology of this vehicle. And remember, speed is not necessarily everything. And I have to say, compare this to an EQS. I'll have to drive the two cars back to back, but there is a lot to like about the Damn it. Okay, sorry about that, take two, but there is a lot to like about the BMW i7. So if you guys are looking for a flagship electric luxury sedan, be sure to put this one at the very top of your list. Well, all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2023 BMW i7. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Me. Oh. All right, sorry, take three. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook. And as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.